Ever wonder what happens after, we're gone, after this life?
It's a question that has captivated humanity for as long as we've been around.
Exactly. And thankfully, we've got some fascinating insights to dive into today, thanks to your suggestions. We're taking a deep dive into the Urantia book's take on the afterlife, specifically paper 48, which talks about the Morontia life.
Right, the Morontia life.
Not your typical Sunday school stuff. This is some next-level cosmology.
It certainly is. The Urantia book goes into great detail, painting this incredibly vivid picture.
So for those of us just tuning in, can you give us a quick rundown of what the Morontia life actually is?
Well, imagine it like this. When we leave this earthly plane, the Urantia book suggests we don't just immediately transform into these purely spiritual beings. It's a process.
A journey.
A journey. And the Morontia life, that's the bridge. It's the link between our material existence and the fully spiritual realms.
And it's not just a quick hop over a river, right? The book mentions something like 570 Morontia transformations. 570.
It's a concept that definitely captures the imagination.
That's a lot of upgrades. So what exactly are these transformations? What's changing?
It's not just about our consciousness evolving, though, of course, that's a huge part of it.
Right.
But the Urantia book also suggests we take on new forms, what it calls Morontia bodies.
Morontia bodies, okay.
These bodies, they're designed to help us experience and interact with these increasingly refined levels of reality. It's like leveling up in a video game. As you progress, you need new equipment, right? New abilities to navigate these higher levels.
So our ability to experience reality itself, it's expanding.
Wow. And what's interesting is this concept, it echoes in other spiritual traditions too, doesn't it?
It does. Even the Apostle Paul hinted at this, writing about a better and more enduring substance in heaven. The Urantia book, it takes this concept and fleshes it out in amazing detail.
It really does. And these Morontia bodies, do we have any sense of what it actually feels like to inhabit these forms? Are there descriptions?
Well, the book acknowledges that human language, it kind of falls short when you're trying to describe experiences beyond our current comprehension.
Right, beyond our understanding.
But what it does suggest is that these Morontia bodies are progressively less material.
Less physical. Right, and more aligned with our evolving minds, our evolving spirits. We might find ourselves capable of, interacting with both the physical and spiritual realms in ways we can only imagine right now.
Now that is a thought. It opens up so many questions. Speaking of questions, we can't forget the Urantia book mentions that we're not alone in this journey. Like, it's not just us cosmic tourists, right?
Not at all.
There's a whole cast of characters we encounter. Morontia power supervisors, companions, even beings dedicated to humor and recreation, which I love.
It's like a cosmic support system.
It is. So let's unpack that a bit. Who are these cosmic companions, and what are their roles in all of this?
Well, let's start with those Morontia power supervisors. They're described as, imagine them as the architects of sorts. They oversee the energy forms and environments we experience in the Morontia life.
So they're the ones essentially designing those 570 Morontia bodies.
You could say that. The book talks about their deep wisdom, how they collaborate with even higher spiritual beings in this process.
Wow, it's mind-boggling when you really think about the level of detail involved. Talk about personalized service, right?
Absolutely.
But then, on top of that, we have the Morontia companions. They sound like the ultimate welcome wagon.
They're really remarkable. Imagine having a guide, a teacher, a confidant, all rolled into one. And they're dedicated to helping you adjust, helping you thrive in this new reality.
That's amazing. So they're there to answer your questions, help you understand the nuances of the Morontia life. What else?
They even introduce you to other beings, facilitate experiences. They're like cosmic travel agents in a way, arranging encounters, experiences, all designed to help you grow, to help you evolve.
Sign me up for that travel agency. But, okay, I have to ask about this because it really stood out to me. The Urantia book mentions beings dedicated to humor and recreation. Reversion directors, they're called.
Yes.
That doesn't sound very, spiritual at first glance.
Don't let the name fool you. The Urantia book, it emphasizes the importance of joy, laughter, even in the afterlife.
Really?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
These reversion directors, they help us to not take ourselves too seriously. They remind us of the humor in our past struggles, encourage a lighter perspective as we continue our journey.
It's about finding that balance, right? The Morontia life, it's not all serious spiritual study. It's about embracing joy, connection, even, like you said, a little cosmic laughter.
Exactly. And this actually ties into this idea of the curriculum of the soul that the Urantia book talks about.
Correct.
Yeah, it's not about traditional classroom learning, though. We're talking about developing qualities of character, honesty, patience, courage, the ability to find joy in effort.
A curriculum of the soul. That sounds, I don't know, pretty intense. Where do we even sign up for that?
Well, according to the Urantia book, there are these places called mansion worlds. Think of them as vibrant learning centers, but not in the traditional sense.
Not like classrooms and pop quizzes on the afterlife.
Not quite. These mansion worlds are where we delve into these deeper aspects of ourselves.
So it's not just about, like, head knowledge. It's about actually embodying these virtues.
Exactly. It's one thing to read about patience. It's another thing entirely to, actually live it.
And how does that work? Exactly. I mean, how do you learn patience or courage on, like, a cosmic level?
Well, remember those 570 Morontia transformations we talked about?
Yeah.
Each stage, it presents these opportunities, these challenges that help us refine those qualities.
So it's all part of the process. And we're not just left to figure it out on our own, right? We've got those Morontia companions there to guide us.
Exactly. They're with us every step of the way, offering support, guidance. It's like having the ultimate life coach.
I like the sound of that. So it really is an active journey, not just a passive float on a cloud kind of existence.
Absolutely not. The Urantia book even warns against procrastination, believe it or not.
Now hitting the snooze button in the afterlife, that's good to know.
Right. But it's also important to remember, this isn't meant to be, grueling or anything. The Urantia book emphasizes the joy of discovery, the thrill of expanding your mind, your spirit. It's about embracing the fullness of experience, the challenges and the triumphs.
I love that. And this curriculum, it's not just a random assortment of self-help topics, is it? The Urantia book actually mentions 3 specific branches of study, right?
It does. It talks about cultivating the mind through thinking, of course.
Okay, so that's one.
Then there's refining our emotional capacity through feeling.
Okay.
And finally, learning to act with wisdom and compassion through doing.
So it's this really holistic approach, looking at the whole picture of who we are, thinking, feeling, doing. It makes you wonder about the practical implications of this education. Like earlier, we touched on the idea that it prepares us for roles in, get this, managing and ministering to the universe.
It's quite a concept.
It is. What do you think the Urantia book means by that? Are we talking about, like, cosmic administration, galactic social work?
It's hard to say for sure, right? I mean, the specifics are, well, beyond our current understanding.
That's for sure.
But I think it speaks to this idea that our individual growth, it's all connected to something much larger.
We're not just isolated beings off on our own little spiritual journey.
Right. As we cultivate wisdom, compassion, the ability to act effectively, it's like we're being equipped to play a role in the evolution of the universe itself.
So it's not just about our own personal enlightenment then. There's this idea of service, of contributing to something far greater than ourselves.
Exactly. It really makes you think differently about this earthly experience, doesn't it?
It does. Like, it's a training ground, in a way, preparing us for something truly remarkable.
That's a great way to put it.
The Urantia book, it offers this truly mind-blowing vision of the afterlife. One that, it challenges us to think bigger, to embrace these infinite possibilities. But more than that, it reminds us that this life, it matters.
It does.
The choices we make, the qualities we cultivate, it's all part of this grand adventure, this journey of growth and service and endless discovery. And it all starts right here, right now.